People of the internet, how are we today? We are doing well. My name, as you know, is Jason. Painfully honest tech, so honest it hurts. We are back in the live stream lounge. How is everyone doing? I see Rockmirth is here. Saw Bob talking, New York Tom. Let's have a little sound off. Larry is here. Yes. Little sound off. Tell me who's here. Talk to me, people, because it's an ask me anything kind of live stream. So if you've been having any burning questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you have any burning areas on your body that you'd like to ask me about, maybe I can't help you with that, but I'm willing to talk about anything else. Wallowing in the existential doom, Larry. I mean, aren't we all? But I don't know, man. It's an interesting time to be alive, but when is it not an interesting time to be alive? World War III hasn't yet started. Last time I checked, our economy was still solvent, and I am no longer sick. I was sick for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and really probably longer than that. I don't know what it was. Ultimately, I ended up taking antibiotics for a sinus infection, and that sort of helped clear everything out. But man, I was bedridden for days. It was not fun. I'm usually one of those people who I don't get sick very often, and then usually it's more mentally sick than physically sick. And so I don't get sick very often, and usually if I do get sick, it leaves quickly. And this time it just wouldn't go away. I still can feel it right here. Oh yeah, right here. So idle time is here. Good afternoon. Where would you be that it's afternoon? Somewhere on the other side of the world, I would suppose. Is tomorrow where you are? Idle time. Because it would be nighttime in Europe and the UK. So I don't know. I'm not very good with time. But you know how it is. So yeah, it's been a very interesting time. It is like Christmas again. I don't know why. Why is it like Christmas again? J Ferrari 427. Tell me all about it. 1:30 a.m. in Sweden. Yeah. I don't always know all of the time zones. I remember, I think England is London is 6 hours in front of me. Yeah. Oh, because I'm back. Well, thank you. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. I mean, I've been meaning to do these live stream things on a regular basis here for some time. And if you don't know, I have been, one of the ways I've been helping myself make money over the past couple of years is doing live streams on Amazon. And that has that takes up a lot of time. So I haven't done as much live streaming on the channel as I wanted to, but that is being rectified right now, starting tonight and moving on forward. The Louis Rossmann trilogy. What is the Louis Rossmann trilogy? What did he do? Genosis has arrived. Nice. High desert of South Idaho. Okay. Southwest Idaho. Yes. I have a friend who lives in Boise. Yeah. That's that, and a lot about that unfortunate murder of those 4 people is what I know. What I know about Idaho. I'm not going to insult you by talking about potatoes. I live in Iowa. People talk about corn. I get it. It's not all corn and potatoes. But Genosis, I have been okay. I've been okay. I mean, sick as a dog for a long time, just to the point where I just really run down, and I could not motivate myself to do anything. So I did the antibiotic course of the antibiotics, and it's like slowly moving out. But I tell you what, like I I got home today, and like today was the first time I didn't take like pain medication or anything like that. I got home today from taking my grandson to daycare, and I did some email and just some, like morning officey stuff. And then at like 10 a.m., I was like, man, I'm tired. And I went back to sleep for like 2 hours. so I'm still not 100%, I guess, or I'm just really lazy. Did I have diarrhea? No, I didn't. Well, one time, but I think it's because I ate some like, frozen in a bag chicken wings and they were just garbage. I shouldn't have done that. But I'm going to blame that and not the sickness. I think it was like sinus infection plus some other something. I didn't have COVID. I didn't have any flu. I didn't have RSV. I didn't have any of that stuff. And then I got blood tests done and, the liver, pancreas, like all that stuff, all the stuff in the blood they tested. I got an ultrasound to make sure that my gallbladder wasn't like doing something funky. And it wasn't. And then I just slowly got better. So it was really weird. And when you're that sick and you're over 50, it's like, you just feel like an old person. You just feel really old. Like, oh, I can't move. And I'm not very good at just like going with it and saying like, oh, I'm just going to be okay. I get myself all stressed out because I can't do anything. So Paul says, okay, Louis Rossman, the wizard years are catching up with me. I've got winter in my beard, man. He's been trying to find out why he had a warrant and a lien against him and his business in New York and didn't know anything about it. Interesting. That's interesting. Oh my goodness, it's front page tech in the house. Holy majolies. That I remember seeing Louis Rossman talking about like some kind of battle he was having with the state, but I didn't know what it was. Front page tech. Yep, new set. Put it all together here in the new house. I've been toying with different looks, but I've finally got it going on. And yeah, the John Prosser in the house. Man, I have not seen you, talk to you for quite a while, but it'd be good to catch up again. Glad you could make it. We got the toilet squad in the house. The Fapata is here, making an appearance. Greatly appreciated. This is water, as always. Didn't feel like, going with any sort of seltzer or anything today. So, yeah, so Ya is saying he had the same kind of, totally missed that you had 100 gallstones. That's terrible. Oh, man, that's terrible. Yeah, I was scared to death that something like really major was wrong with me because I'd been sick for weeks. And then they're like, oh, go get an ultrasound. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And the liver enzymes were elevated. And I was like, oh my God, I don't drink or anything like that. So I just, it was very scary. But when the ultrasound woman was like, yeah, everything looks fine here, fatty liver, but that's about it. And fatty liver is not good. I mean, but given the amount of poundage that I have put on since COVID times, I'm not surprised that I've got a fatty liver because I got a fatty everything else. So, it's a sad, sad thing. Yeah. Too many chicken wings, too many frozen pizzas. I'm 51 years old and I eat like a 12-year-old. Okay. That's the long and short of it right there. I eat like a 12-year-old. Hamburgers, pizza, but it's got to stop. It's got to stop because my grandson, who we're raising, I'm going to be 67 when he graduates high school. So I gotta pick this thing up. Yeah, the Viper diet, but man, Viper goes to the gym, and he's all swole, and I'm swole as well, but more in a kind of like, I'm retaining fluids kind of way. But Viper's very he's muscular. We are in the new house. We actually moved to the new house in late October, but then we didn't sell our old house until 2 or 3 weeks ago, which was not a fun thing because, you get that when you buy a house, you get that little grace period where your mortgages are kind of like canceling each other out. So you get a month or 6 weeks of not having to pay anything. But then if you still have the old mortgage, you have to keep paying that and then pay the new mortgage. So that was fun. That was fun. And now that it's, I may have just been like super stressed out from all of that, and that could have caused part of me getting sick. I don't know. But, yeah. So this Louis Rossmann thing, what was the warrant for, and why was there a lien on his business? I mean, I've always thought he was a little bit shady, but I gotta be honest, like, stop following Louis Rossmann. I mean, I never really followed him. He just like was in my feed. I haven't seen him for a while, so I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, other than that, I mean, like I said, I've been working on this set, and so this is like half of the basement, and the other half is my music studio over there. And so I just get to do I just get to do video stuff here. What makes you think it has to be for something? Well, I mean, usually they issue a warrant for something. I mean, they don't just say, let's pick a name out of a hat and then write their name on a warrant. There has to be something. Sent mail to the wrong address for a long time. Okay, that sounds like New York State. Said he didn't pay some taxes, but sent everything to a main address that he was never at. Okay, yeah. I mean, that stuff happens for sure. Larry says, sort of bummed over here. My YouTube channel was growing slowly but surely. 1.5 years in, it's starting to flatten out and flounder. 116 videos published. No, man, this is not when you quit. The 116 videos is not when you quit, okay? Because you've just figured out how to do the videos. Now, YouTube is a fickle mistress, and it will toy with you, Larry. It will toy with you until you are driven mad. Trust me. But you gotta keep doing it. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I too have considered the quitting many times. I've considered quitting many things many times, and YouTube more than once, more than twice. I mean, if you look at the Painfully Honest Tech channel over the last couple of years, like I don't know when I hit 202,000 subscribers, but it was a long time ago, and I'm still at 202,000 subscribers. But yeah, YouTube it's just an always changing thing, and I think you gotta stick with what you do and believe in yourself and believe in the thing you're doing and have fun doing it, and as long as that's going on, then don't worry about the other stuff. Because yeah, like I say, things go up, they go down, they go up, they stay flat. I mean, I remember Jack Conte, who is one of the founders of Patreon, but he also has a band with his wife called Pamplemousse. And I remember watching a video from him where he was talking about how Pamplemousse had like one big viral hit. You know, they did a cover, I forget what song it was. They had a big viral hit, and they just got like hundreds of thousands of views and subscribers and stuff. And then for the next 10 years, they didn't grow at all. I mean, 10 years of not growing at all. And now they're like they're into the millions of subscribers, and they're doing very well. And they have a side project band called Scary Pockets that does covers in a funk style of different things. So, I mean, yeah, you got to ride it out. The people who succeed are the people who don't quit. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. Success just comes in the not quitting. And then, you know, success defines itself in a bunch of different ways. So I think, you know, don't let the weather today influence your impression of the season, if you know what I'm saying. You gotta keep going. You got to keep going. I mean, if you feel good about doing it and you were making headway, then you'll do it again. But it's not always going to be straight up. Trust me. I know. Man, it's taken me a long time. It's taken me a long time to figure out the painfully honest thing post. I mean, I guess from 2020 to now, I've just been like, I don't know what this is, because the tech that I was covering has changed, and the tenor of the whole conversation has changed, and so it takes a long time sometimes to find your direction. But I feel good about the new direction of the Painfully Honest Tech, except for the fact that I haven't put out any videos in March yet. But I got new things coming, and I've got some new relationships that I'm a building. And you know, it's all in your mindset. Like, if you think of yourself as failing, then that's what it'll be, whether it's true or not. But if you think of yourself as still, like, you know, you're still up in the ring, and you got a puncher's chance, then you do. It's all in how you frame it. And the analytics, man, I never look at YouTube Studio ever. Maybe once a week. So don't get too caught up on that stuff, because it can tell you lies. It can tell you lies. Ya has a question. Favorite office desk chair? Thinking about getting an open box Herman Miller, but not sure if I want to spend that much. Sit at my desk 9 to 10 hours a day. Herman Miller. Aeron. I mean, I wish that I could pull the trigger on something like an Embody or something like that. Really wanted to do it, but I couldn't do it. But I found a Herman Miller size B Aeron chair in pretty good shape on Facebook Marketplace for $300, and then I spent another $50-$75 on a new pad for the front, and it didn't have the back lumbar support thing. I got those things, and it's a great chair. I mean, it's different than, so this is a Secret Lab chair. It's really big. It's comfortable, but yet it's a lot of chair. The Herman Miller is like a mid-back chair, and I like it a lot. I mean, the one that I got, like I said, is in really good shape. And the stuff that wears out, as long as your mesh is still in good shape, then I think you're good for a long time. Favorite new tech of 2023? Holy moly! What new tech has come out in 2023? I don't even know. I've kind of been like, I've been on a non-buying kick recently. But I will say that Sonos has 2 new speakers coming out next week. The Sonos, let me look it up here. I think it's Sonos Evo or something. Sonos Era, the Era 100 and the Era 300. One's $450, one's $299, I believe. So Sonos has got new stuff coming out, and yeah, so that's I'm interested to see what those are about. AI has been, Genosis is right. People have been going crazy about AI, and I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. You know, the S23 Ultra, the S23 line in general. I mean, those phones look really good. And I did pick up the S23 in Best Buy, the Ultra, and I'm like, you know, it feels good in the hand, ladies. It really does. But I couldn't pull the trigger on doing it because I'm still using the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And I like it. I mean, I don't want an eSIM. I don't want an eSIM, and I'm just kind of in that place. You know what I mean? Yeah. The AR goggles. I'm interested. I'm gonna have to watch the Snazzy Labs video that I just saw on my feed today, because I'm sure he's studied up on it. I mean, AR. I was looking at the new MetaQuest Pro that came out, I guess, late last year, and that was, it's like $1,400. I think they dropped the price, but it's I don't know, like with the AR glasses that I have from the Nreal ARs, pretty cool. But I can't wear them comfortably. I can't wear them comfortably because I have to keep my glasses on, and I haven't paid to get lenses for them. I haven't tried Invoke AI. I wanted to try Chat GPT, and you know, then it's a waiting list, and so I was like, I just didn't do the research on how to get into any of this stuff. But then I got something from Google today. Google Nest invited me to try Bard. Let me see. Creative, helpful collaborator here to bring your ideas to life using generative AI. We'd like to offer you the opportunity to be among the first to sign up for the new experience and provide feedback. You might ask Bard to outline a blog post, etc., etc. So I clicked on the thing and said, yeah, I'll do it. and they put me on a waiting list. So I don't know. I'm curious because, okay, here's what I'm curious about when it comes to AI. I see all of these ads. Everybody's saying, oh, we'll give you, get 30 pieces of content out of one idea. and all this different stuff. And I don't doubt that it's possible. But in order to do that, I think you have to be pretty savvy about how you input things into the AI and then what you take away from it. And I think a lot of people are just going to let these AI bots write stuff for them, and then they're going to sound ridiculous. And that's what worries me, is that people will look at it as, excuse me, people will look at it as like a cheat code, and they'll use it to cut corners, and then all of their content will sound like it was written by a robot, and then they'll be mad, right? So I do like Bard. Google comes up with better names, like Chat GPT just sounds like it kind of sounds like a new Bitcoin. I don't even really know what a Bitcoin is. I mean, it's still a mystery to me. I mean, I know what it is, but right now it seems like Bitcoins are just a good way to lose money. Well, that's the thing, Genosis. If I were still teaching and people were using Chat GPT to write essays, then I would have to use Chat GPT and input all the essays and ask Chat GPT if Chat GPT wrote the essay, right? Would it do that? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Clock Radio, we used Chat GPT for a cover letter and got the job. I mean, congratulations on the job. I'm sure you were highly qualified and And I mean, cover letter is one thing. It's a pretty standard boilerplate style thing. So I can see using it for things like that. But I mean, there are boilerplate cover letters and resumes and stuff like that on Google Docs that you can just use, right? Boss Prime is in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean, depending on how you want to say it, on vacations. Oof, man, haven't had a vacation in a long time. We're supposed to go to Ireland for our 25th wedding anniversary in October. Well, late September, early October. Had the tickets, had everything booked, had it was all set up. Just had to get on the plane, but it was happening right at the time we ended up moving. And it was kind of in that place, that time period of the buying and the selling and all that we would have just been, we didn't go on the trip. I mean, I've got Irish heritage. I've wanted to go to Ireland for my whole life. Been to a lot of places, been to England, been to all kinds of places in Europe, et cetera, et cetera. Been to Canada. I mean, once you've been to Canada, where do you need to go? But we didn't go to on the Ireland trip. We had to eat a lot of that money. Yeah, it was sad. It was sad. Hold on, I'm catching up here. Larry asked if I listened to any Wet Leg. Yeah, in fact, I remember when their most recent record came out and everybody was talking about them, and I was like, too cool for school, and I don't want to listen to the flavor of the month, so I just kind of didn't listen. But they popped up in my YouTube feed, and the Chaise Longue song came on, and I was like, this is fucking cool. This is really fucking cool. And then I listened to I watched 5 other videos, and then I watched them do a live version of Chaise Longue on the BAFTA Awards, I think it was. And it was just the weirdest, craziest thing. And they seem to be having a lot of fun. And I like that. So yeah, definitely. Very cool. There are also 21 million Bitcoin, and that's it. Finite asset that won't increase over the next few decades. Yeah, I see. There's so much that I don't know. I still use money like a poor person. I grew up kind of poor, and have always treated money like a poor person, which means when it comes in, it goes out. Doesn't matter how much it is. It just comes in, it goes out, right? And I'm trying to change that. So never invested anything, never bought a stock, never done any of that stuff. So I got to change that, but be that as it may. Let's see. Genosis says, but I thought experienced language teachers could and would identify students writing from cheating and plagiarism. Wouldn't it be the same with AI writing? Maybe. I mean, here's the thing. Most student writing sucks. And they aren't very good at it. So it's often not hard to recognize a student's writing. I mean, if you have 30 students in a college writing 101 class, you'll probably have 2 or 3 students, like say 10% maybe of the students who don't suck. And the rest will be varying levels of sucking, all the way down to you can't put a sentence together, to you can almost put a sentence together, but it's so painful to read what you're writing. Okay. So that's the scope. So if I got something that was written by an AI, I think it would be easy to know. Not that it was AI per se, but that something was up. Because they're like essay, even before that, you could go pay people to write essays for you and everything like that. I remember the first time I caught somebody plagiarizing, and and this was 2008, I think. And I was just like, something feels weird about this essay. This kid, I'd read other things that he'd written before, and I'd never done this before, but somebody suggested it to me. They're like, copy the first sentence and put it into Google and see what happens. And popped right up, and it was a sentence in it from another piece of writing, and he had wholesale copied the essay, and I had to kick him out. I had to kick him out of the class, and he had to go before, I don't know, the morals court or whatever. I don't know if he got kicked out of school or not, but he did get kicked out of my class and failed. So, I mean, it's always been a problem, I guess. And there are some people who think like these tools are meant to make it so they don't have to do it, right? Because they're above being competent writers or something. So I think that the Chat GPT thing is dangerous in many, many ways. The Poet's in the house. Good to see you, man. I saw you on the red carpet there on the Twitter, and I was like, damn it. I wish see this. You don't live in Los Angeles. You don't get to go do fun things like that. So I hope you had fun, man. I've heard the movie's good. Going to a Hollywood premiere, that must be fun. So yeah, that looked really cool. I'm looking forward to the movie. So Deck Test, it's put about $20 a week into Bitcoin for a couple of years. Currently $2K profit after initial, as it stands today. Can't win without some risk, but worth holding on long term. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, taking the long term approach. But I mean, I wonder too, is like, would you have more potential and or flexibility and less volatility in the stock market? Like, DePoets is a financial advisor, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. He obviously will. I don't know anything about any of this, but it is interesting to me in the sense that like it's fascinating. Like, I look at Bitcoin and ChatGPT kind of in the same way. It's like something new that could potentially fuck everything up. Or maybe it's good. I don't know. Like, they're both that. Yeah, I mean, right now, the everything that I know about the financial market and what's going, I guess the contraction that we're seeing from what I didn't expect at the time, but like 2020, 2021 were big boom times for tech companies. And I didn't expect that. I expected everybody to contract and like spend no money and, wait to see if the world ended. But no, everybody bought tech products and played video games. So now we're seeing, like with Amazon just is laying off another 9,000 people. And Amazon had to super scale their staff, right? In all areas of the business in order to meet the demand, because Amazon was like America's grocery store, right? Plus everything else. And now the business just isn't there. So every 10 to 15 years, there's some kind of adjustment that happens. and you never know what it's going to be or why it's going to happen. I thought it was going to be the pandemic. And I guess maybe you could still say it is the pandemic because the pandemic was what caused the big buildup. But I don't know. It's kind of a scary thing. I'm sitting here like, so Amazon not doing well is not good for me. Let's just say that and leave it at that. And I'm entering into some new areas, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if I did something like what Deck Tested says here, set aside 20% of income, 15% S&P, 5% Bitcoin, I'm sure that would do great. I mean, but I don't even like, I'm 51 years old. And at this point, I've cashed out all the 401ks that I had, and I don't have any savings. So I'm gonna have to get smarter about this thing here soon, like when I get more money. So yeah. It's the tech budgets. DePose is right. I mean, tech budgets are really tight now, and there just isn't the same number of products, and the products that are coming out aren't necessarily like, get excited and run around the house kind of products. There's nothing that's new and exciting in that way. I mean, if the Apple goggles do come out this year, which I'm still not convinced that they'll ever come out. But if they do, and there's something that, is within reach of people to buy, and it does pay off at least some of the potential that AR has, then I think it'll be a new product. But we need something new, some kind of new paradigm, some kind of shift in the marketplace to make, because smartphones drove the tech market for 10 years, right? From 2007 to like 2018, 19, 2020. Smartphones were the it tech, right? And now smartphones are, I mean, there's people still like smartphones, but there's just not as much to talk about. I mean, if you're in North America, you've got Samsung and Apple, and Google's got like some minuscule part of the market. I mean, LG was third in the marketplace at 10% when they stopped making smartphones because they couldn't make any money. So the smartphone market in North America at least has really sort of, I guess it's just a two-man race at this point. And both Apple and Samsung make really good phones. So, Clock Radio with a hot take: Touch ID greater than Face ID. I don't know, man. I don't know. Face ID. Okay, here's what I'll tell you. Get yourself an Android phone, put it on your dash, and drive around, and then try and like interact with your phone at all, whether you're driving or stopped at a stop sign or whatever. Man, Face ID, you just look at your phone and it unlocks and then you can do your thing. Face ID is, I mean, from day one, Face ID has, I only use Android because they're like the only phone that uses Touch ID anymore. So Face ID and you got to give credit where credit is due. Face ID has been amazing from day one. Secure, efficient, almost never fails. Like, you forget that it's there unless you're wearing your CPAP mask and it won't unlock your phone, which is a thing now. But yeah, it's really probably it's an unsung, really huge move forward in tech from where it was. Touch ID was always great as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. Touch ID on Apple phones and iPads was the best Touch ID that there was. But I don't know. Face ID is kind of a new thing. It kind of just, and no Android company has been able to catch up and do it at even like 50% the efficiency, 50% of the effectiveness. So DePoe says he's using the Sony Xperia Pro 1. I really want to try those Sony phones. They look so amazing. But the only thing that keeps me from the Sony phones is that, like, they're not in a carrier store and they're not at Best Buy. And I don't live in a place where I can, in some bigger areas, Sony has like retail stores and that kind of thing, but I'd have to order one sight unseen. And I just don't like doing that. Soli did it, but they had to get rid of Soli. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Soli did do the Face ID thing really well, but they had to get rid of it. So, you might, and Genosis, you might be right. I mean, it might have been ahead in some ways, but I mean, it's only as good as how it works on your current phone, which it doesn't because it's not there. Yeah, and that's what I mean. See, Lionsman, you got yours on your Sony from Best Buy Online, and I could do that. I don't know. I mean, it just feels like a risk. And for me, like, not tinkering around with phones as much as I had in the past, I just haven't done it. But I've looked at those phones and I've thought, like, that could really solve a lot of problems for me. But also, like, I haven't installed Ventura on any of my Macs, but Ventura with that, like, feature where you can use your iPhone camera as your webcam, and that's pretty slick as well. Yeah, and you're right. You can't return it. Trust me, I know you can return things. I have been banned from returning things to Best Buy in my lifetime. So yeah, but I don't know, like, I want to try those Sony phones, but I really have been in, like, conservation mode. I haven't really bought anything since the beginning of the year. I bought a couple of things for the studio, like, but nothing tech, like smartphone related. Deck Tested said I got the 13 Pro Max and honestly see myself keeping it for at least 4 to 5 years. Battery still holds. Yeah, my 12 Pro Max has like 93% battery capacity. So it's nearly half off now. Oh, now you're tempting me, man. So yeah, I do want to check it out, but that's the thing. Like, if you can get an iPhone or like an iPhone. Oh, TechMed Rainier Richter. Thank you for the $10. The $10. Let me see. What do I got here? Oh yeah, we got. Yeah. There we go. A little air horn for you. No, my sticking point, and this isn't about the Sony so much. My sticking point right now is being required to switch to an eSIM with the iPhone. I just don't want to do it. And because it makes my life harder. I can't pull out my SIM card and put it in other phones. And I'm sure there's workarounds that I could do, but the iPhone 13 Pro Max, like, if I could get one of those green ones with 512 gigabytes for cheap, that green was so sexy. So anyway, that's yeah. I remember somebody on Twitter asked who did green the best, and I have to, for my money, I say that the Apple sort of OD army green thing was the best that I've seen. What audio do I use with my phone? I mean, do you mean what like streaming service? Because I've been using Spotify more than anything else right now, and only been able to use Spotify headphones. Okay, I've only been using Spotify more because they have podcasts as well as music in the same app, and I listen to both kind of interchangeably, and it just makes my life easier. But now there are a lot of podcasts on Amazon, on the Amazon Music app, that are commercial free, and you can listen to the whole season at one time, where they come out episodically on other platforms. So the only reason I upgraded was the 120 hertz. Yeah, I still don't see 120 hertz. Like, I'm sure it's 100% me. I'm 100% me, no doubt. But I don't see it when I go, like, so this is 60 hertz, and I go from this to, say, my Fold 4. I just don't see it. I just don't see the difference. Now, I will say this. So I just got this setup finished yesterday, and over in the studio, I have the studio display with my MacBook, right? And when I first plugged in this monitor, so this is a 29-inch LG monitor, 1080p from, I don't even know how long ago, like before they were selling 34-inch monitors. And I could almost not read the text when I first started looking at it. So, and then I went over to the Razer Raptor back there, and it was hard to look at too. And it's 144 hertz. So the studio display, like, has destroyed my eyes. But when it comes to smartphones, like, I just don't really notice it. Yeah, I film in 30 hertz or 30 frames per second, I guess. So, maybe that'll be a thing. But I don't see it. I suppose that I could see it if I really looked for it. And I'm not, this is not a criticism by in one way or another. This is just the fact that, when people were going crazy about it's got to have 120 hertz, I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't see it. But a lot of people do. And obviously I see it in other venues. In a bigger screen, I see it. But I just don't notice it until I go to a screen that's clearly inferior. 5K to 1080p. The fact that this monitor still works is a miracle in and of itself. I've broken so many monitors. When I was setting up this room, I was going to have a TV back there. I broke 2 TVs. I had 2 of those 49-inch curved Samsung monitors. I broke them both. I think I've broken probably $5,000 worth of monitors and TVs. But this little 29-inch monitor that I bought probably in 2016 will not break. That says something. It's got thick bezels and plastic, because people didn't care about that stuff then. They just wanted a monitor. So it really works. It's bath time for my grandson. And my grandson is in the phase where he really doesn't like bath time, which is our daughter didn't have this. So if you hear a crying baby, no one's being tortured. He's not enjoying bath time. So apologies there. The bathroom is way over there, but he's got a voice. So yeah, I think if you see that stuff and you really enjoy it, and it really impacts the experience and makes it better for you, then I can't take anything away from you whatsoever. But at the same time, it's not a selling point for me. Ricky says, I've still got a Sony TV from 2004 that still works. Hope it lasts a while longer. Sony, for many, 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 many years, Sony was the shit when it came to TVs. And they still make really good TVs. For my money, LG OLED TVs have been the best since, I mean, I got my first one in 2017, and I've had, I think, 4 since then. And they're just picture incomparable to anything else. I don't really like the Samsung TVs because they're just so like, it's like looking into the sun. They're just so bright, and the colors are a little too brash for me. And I'm sure I could pay somebody to calibrate it, and it would look a lot better. But I just don't really like the Samsung TVs as much. I had an 8K Samsung that I bought. This is crazy. So when the model year changed last year, my local Best Buy took their 8K, the 800. So it's like the one step down from the highest end model they had. So they took their 800 8K 75-inch TV off the rack and put it down and charged $1,800 for it. $1,800. And that TV was, I think, close to $4,000, maybe over $4,000 when it was brand new. Now, of course, yes, it's a TV that's been on for the last year in store mode. But I wanted to really see if 8K was a thing, and if it was really super noticeable or whatever. And Best Buy has that membership thing now, where you pay $200 and you get 3-year, no questions asked warranty and all this other stuff. And so I was like, okay, I can buy this $1,800 8K 75-inch television and then if it craps out because it's been a floor model, then I just take it back and they give me the brand new one. But when we moved to this house, we don't really have a space for a 75-inch TV. So I ended up getting the Sony, X95K, which is Sony's first micro LED TV. And this is the first non-OLED TV that I would say really doesn't make me miss OLED. So yeah, the next level up is their OLED stuff, and it's really expensive. I got it on sale. I got a 65-inch on sale for $1,750, but the regular retail price was, I think, $2,200. Really good TV, incredibly well made. Mini LED. Thank you. I sometimes mix up the micro and the mini, but mini LED. It's a really good TV. The only downside when you buy a TV these days, it's not like a premium experience like it used to be. If you buy a nice TV 10 years ago, you get like the super tricked out remote, and it's like all of these different things, and it just feels like a premium purchase. But now that, you get like a slightly better remote than you would get on a $600 TV, but not by that much. But I mean, I guess in general, like Clock Radio says, in general, they are, you can get a really good TV for a lot less money than you could just a few years ago. The prices just keep coming down. So I guess, the remote controls are, I mean, does anybody really use the remote that comes with their TV? I did like the LG remote with the little wandy Nintendo Wii controller thing. I did like that. But for the most part, I mean, I use Apple TV, and I'll use the Apple TV remote because it's small, and a smaller remote is just nicer. And I'm finally getting into the place where I'm using the voice commands. I feel like Scotty in what was the Star Wars movie where the original cast went down to Earth and Scotty picked up the mouse and he went, computer. So that's what I feel like when I use the Siri or Google or whatever on my remote. I feel like that. At this point, I probably kind of look like him too. But yeah, Star Trek V, The Voyage Home. Thank you. I could not remember which one it was. But that was like the funniest thing in that movie. And I have quoted that part of that movie ever since. I think I was in junior high or early in high school when they came out. So yes, that's right. Double dumbass on you. I like how wasn't it that Spock like somehow tried to school them in 20th century culture or something? It was just funny. Brett Shit, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so it's been a weird start of the year for tech. I mean, AI is definitely something that everybody's talking about. That's right. They were crossing the street. Yeah. I would have loved it if you would have done the Dustin Hoffman Midnight Cowboy thing. I'm walking here. Slamming on the hood of the taxi cab. I don't know. Maybe that's too esoteric. Maybe that's too fancy for. So anyway, yeah, so it's yeah, that Sony really is a good TV. And then of course it's like the new TVs that came out and that were introduced at CES, like there's some really good looking stuff. But I think that until TVs go to micro LED, we're kind of at a similar place where prices have come down, quality has gone up, and everybody is sort of at the same level. You know, there are models that are better, but I also got another open box. I wanted to have a 65-inch TV in the studio because the room was too small for like the 48-inch OLED that I had. And Best Buy was selling an open box Sony X80K 65-inch for $430. $430. It had no feet. It had no remote. It just had the cable. The only reason it had the cable to plug it in was that it was stuck to the inside stuck to the thing. They wrapped it up in plastic. Like a new one was $900. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. And I put it on the wall. And the only thing I discovered is you cannot control everything in a new TV without the remote control. Like I could change volume. Like it's just one button and you can long press it to do certain things. So it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But I couldn't change the picture mode. I couldn't change anything. I couldn't get into the settings without the remote. So I went on Amazon and I found a remote that was $12, claimed to be universally good for all modern Sony TVs. And I was like, well, it's $12. What am I going to lose? It shows up. And not only is it exactly like a Sony remote, like same quality of plastic, same quality of buttons, everything else. But I mean, it all worked. So it was just unbelievable. And it was like big. It was like 9 inches long. That's what she said. But yeah, so then I was able to change everything. But that's sort of a bummer that you can't control your TV. Like I couldn't even put it on Wi-Fi. I couldn't even hook it up to the Wi-Fi system. It wouldn't give me the menu to get to the Wi-Fi, like the network. So Richard, thank you, man. Thank you. Boss Prime asked, what happened to Panasonic during the 70s and 80s? Panasonic still exists. And if you watch, there's a guy who does TV videos HD TV Test, I think, is the name of his channel. And he's based in Hong Kong. And Panasonic still sells in Europe and I think in Asia, but they don't sell in North America. So, but I think their offerings are very similar to what we get from the Sonys and the LGs and the Samsungs. So yeah, he might be in the UK. You're right, but yeah, but Panasonic still exists, but for some reason they don't sell over here. Techniques is back. Techniques, they just released last year an anniversary model of the SL 1200 turntable, like the turntable of the golden age for the DJs. And it was $1,200. I was like, oh man, I could get myself a really nice anniversary, like special edition turntable. Expensive as fuck. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'll just use this Audio Technica that's a total ripoff of the Techniques and is only like 20% as good. I don't, who listens to records anymore? Panasonic was known for their plasma TVs. In fact, I remember buying the last Panasonic plasma TV that my local Best Buy had. It was the floor model. And it was an amazing TV, 1080p. But man, it looked so good. I mean, I'd love to see an OLED TV next to a plasma TV. Just because plasma TVs, they were just something different. They were just something different. Yeah, and Panasonic made great VHS machines, and yeah, they were, especially in the audio video realm, they were among the best for sure. And yeah, it's weird. It's weird that they I don't know what has happened with their company in terms of like why they've contracted their market and stuff. I don't know what that story is. Oh yeah, you're right. You know, I bought a Panasonic microwave too. Like our microwave in our old house blew out a year ago, I think, and we bought a Panasonic. That's right. Still got a Panasonic plasma. Yeah. Loud and hot. I believe it. Yeah. Yeah. I ended up not really liking the Panasonic microwave because it didn't have like buttons to put in the time and stuff. It was weird. It was very weird. Yeah, I want to have, so I have not watched, I watched like the first half of Picard season 1. I didn't watch season 2. Now, it wasn't that I didn't like it or anything. I just kind of was, watching a bunch of things, and that was, it just sort of slipped off the menu. But in season 3, a very good friend of mine is in the show. So now I have to catch up. Because I want to see her in the show. So that's going to be exciting. Tavine, her name in the show is Tavine. I guess she's a Vulcan. The actress's name is Stephanie Chakowski. Yeah, I've known her since New York days, like long time ago. Yeah, she's awesome. She's super awesome. She was also on Doom Patrol. She played on Doom Patrol as well. So, yeah, but Picard season 3, it looks like they have like all the old cast is back, or at least a good portion of them. We got Riker, who looks like he looks like he should be doing like a cognac commercial all the time. It's just like, hello. This is the thing. I don't get all the criticism of all the like reboot shows. I mean, some of them just aren't good, and that's okay. But I don't. This is the thing. I mean, I feel like the internet. I heard a comedian do this joke where it's like, there used to be dumb people, but they weren't all together. Now the internet has given dumb people a place to congregate and talk to one another, and that's a problem. And I feel like that's kind of happened with all these reboots of these television shows where everybody's like woke this, woke that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just silly. It's just silly they think they're politicizing the shows, whatever. I don't even get it. I don't even get it because if you're talking about Star Trek has dealt with political social issues since day one. Weren't they the first show to have a lead actress who was black in an ensemble cast? I mean, these people don't even, they don't think about what they're saying. Science fiction is about, it's a metaphoric space to explore common issues among human beings, right? So I don't get all these complaints about this, that, or the other thing. I mean, that Lord of the Rings show ended up just not being very good, right? And so, yeah, I mean, are they going to complain about the fact that, Worf is speaking Klingon? He's on a Earth ship. He has to speak American. I don't know. I haven't watched Rick and Morty for a long time, but it's kind of on my list of like one of the things that I'll see. Marty Girl, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I haven't watched Rick. I really liked Rick and Morty, but just haven't watched it for a long time. I don't end up watching that much TV stuff anymore. I watch more YouTube, more useless, stupid YouTube stuff. Like those compilations of fails. I watch those things like one after the other after the other. I don't know why. My whole YouTube feed is like puppies and kitties and fails. That's it. And I don't know. There's no tech in my YouTube feed at all, except for Marquez, because Marquez, I think, gets served to everyone on the platform. And Linus, of course. Thank God I don't see Lou. I do see Lou later clips sometimes, though. And I have never seen somebody with such a fancy set and so little to say. That guy, I mean, it's like he's sitting there waiting for a bus, talking to the guy next to him. He's got nothing to say. What a boring ass dude. Sorry, little rant there. Little rant. I know his set is huge. It's like, hey, we just decided to put this set in an airplane hangar because we can. And I don't know, how do they control the audio? How do they control like the reverb? I don't know how they do it. I think it's probably a green screen, I think. I did watch, Dave Lee also has a huge set. And I watched Gerald Undone did a studio tour of Dave Lee's set. And what was so refreshing about Dave Lee's studio tour is that he barely knows anything about anything when it comes to the tech, like the cameras and the lighting and all that stuff. He didn't know the names of any of the things that he was using. It was so refreshing because so many people are like, well, I've got this aperture and this bank of lights was $40,000. Oh man. I didn't say anything about Luke Miani. What could you say about Luke Miani? I mean, is there a lead? He seems like a very nice guy. But, I mean, my accountant is a very nice guy. I don't hang out with him. So Luke Miani reminds me of someone who got a business degree, who I would never talk to. So, how's that? It's we're almost an hour and a half into the show, so this is where I start getting myself in trouble. Luke Miani went to Japan, and he just like I watched like part of a video where he was just going into like tech stores where you could buy like connectors, and he was like, "Oh my God, you can get so many connectors." It's like, I don't know, man. And now I guess he has a car channel. Good on you, bro. I guess I could give people tours of my Chevy Silverado from 2015. Just got a crack in the windshield, so I could explain to people how to pray that it doesn't get bigger. Rainier, I've almost only ever seen Lou Later clips. And so I haven't really paid too much attention. But Lou Later clips, that show, the Lou Later show, I remember when they first started it and they were going to have guests. Dave Lee was on, but he's in Toronto and Lou's in Toronto. And so they were going to it was going to be a talk show, right? And then it just like degraded into Lou sitting there like this, like scrolling through his computer and talking about random shit, which is a model of content that I myself am going to follow soon, because there's not enough people who sit around and just randomly talk about whatever's on their newsfeed. This was recommended to you after you watched a Lou Later clip. That's good. The algorithm is working for me. Oh man. Yeah, so Luke Miani bought a bunch of old Macs and yeah, I saw he just put out a video that he's gonna try and fix them. The one thing that amazes me. So I just recently got a trash can Mac. I found a trash can Mac with a 12-core CPU and for like $450. And I spent another 100 something to get 64 gigs of RAM and another 100 something to get a terabyte of storage. And I've got this thing, Bandrew in the house. There we go. Oh man, I never changed the stock things in my Rodecaster Pro. They just, they always deliver exactly what you need. It's good to see you, Andrew. Yeah, I don't know. So, but Luke Miani, this is one thing I'll say. I watched some of his videos about the trash can Mac. Oh my God. He hates the trash can Mac so bad. I was like, wow, did it like date his mom? What happened that he hates it so bad? I don't even know. He just hates the trash can Mac so bad. And I can see that at a certain point. Maybe so these videos were a couple of years old, and at that time they were still super expensive and not very good. But when you can get a trash can Mac for $450 and upgrade it to something that's infinitely usable or even better than usable, it's like it's a pretty kick-ass machine for that money. And the design is what I love about it. Even if it's not a good computer, I get it. I understand why. Apple admitted it. It's one of the only times. But yeah, when you so here's what I see every time you lift the cover off, right? And to do it, like the feeling of lifting that cover off, it is engineered so perfectly that there's a little suction to it, and it comes off. And then it looks like Darth Vader turned around without his helmet on in Empire Strikes Back. And I'm like, That is badass. That it just looks so good. It just looks so good. I would pay $450 just because I like the industrial design. I mean, the fact that it is a perfectly serviceable computer for probably 95% of everybody on the planet, except for the fact that it can't be upgraded to Ventura. But yeah, it's such a cool computer. So I got that, and I'm trying to cut costs, people. I'm trying to cut costs. I got caught up in this thing where everything has to be like the most expensive, bestest thing, and for my use, I don't really need the bestest thing, right? And so I have this grand idea of like turning my studio, like just using the trash can Mac as my studio computer. And then I can like sell a computer and not have so much money in stuff. I'll make a glass cover where you can see the insides. And that's a good point. Now, when they were using the Intel chips, obviously like heat and everything else was definitely a problem. But they could now make an M series machine, and then there's no problem with space for a GPU, CPU. There's no problem for space for RAM. I mean, it's all that SoC. It doesn't matter how big it is or anything like that. They could easily make the trash can Mac, the Mac Pro again, and the M series just be that's the perfect chip to use in there. And considering the fact that there's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Basically put some lights in there that don't do anything, that just, they just, I would be all over it. Honestly, I seriously would. Anybody who spent like $50,000 on that last Mac Pro, I would be so mad. I would be so mad. Is that class action lawsuitable? Like, we made this thing and we charged you $50,000 for it, and now this $500 computer outpaces it. It's not as simple as that, but still, man. But again, that's the thing. So when we're in YouTube land, everybody's thinking product cycles, right? Each year, new product cycle. And we talk about what's new and different and exciting about this versus that. But when you're buying a machine like a Mac Pro, you're buying that machine for 5 to 10 years, and hopefully 10, because that's the only way you're going to get the money out of it, right? So yeah, I just, hopefully those people are still getting what they need to get out of those machines, having the sunk cost of buying them. But yeah, I would be super ticked off. Bandry says he was ready to upgrade to the Mac Pro, then reformatted the 2017 iMac and have held off until now. Yeah, I had the great good fortune of buying an iMac, like it was randomly at my Best Buy, and it was $1,700. It was a 2020 iMac. And it said, I made a video about this, I think, or at least like a short. It said that it was a i7, 512 gigabytes, 8 gigabytes of RAM. When I opened it up, it was an i9 with 4 terabytes of storage and 8 gigs of RAM. So I put 64 gigs of RAM in there, and I was like, oh man, this is what I need. This is so much storage. This is a really good computer. And then I looked on eBay, and I saw that I could make $1,000 over what I spent on it, so I sold it. Yeah, I know. That's the thing too. I get the efficiency, and with the M1 chips, when it was Intel, it kind of felt like Apple was just, giving us the finger and saying, fuck you, pay us the money. You could change things, but we don't want you to. But now with the M series chips, and they're all like integrated into one another, it makes more sense. I'm not as angry about it. And I think you get more mileage out of less RAM in those machines, but they do get weird. Like I have a 32 gigabyte MacBook Pro right now, which I bought because I kept bottoming out 16 gigabytes and like getting these memory warnings. So I got the 32 gigabyte, and every once in a while I'll still get like a memory pressure warning. And I think, I don't know what it is. I think it's like memory management or something, but that thing will run like a deer. It just sprint through everything. And then once you hit that memory pressure point, it just like, it just craps the bed. So I maybe they haven't figured out like exactly how to tune the memory, but I don't know. Rainier says, I got the Mac Studio as a follow-up of my Windows machine. Very happy with it. Yeah, I got the Mac Studio. And I mean, the Mac Studio, I think, is in some ways, I think the Mac Studio is probably for like I don't want to say semi-professional, but for the person who isn't working on animation, it doesn't do like huge film scores, doesn't do, like the base Mac Studio is the perfect computer for most people who use their computer professionally for, programs that need a little horsepower, right? I mean, I wish it had a terabyte of storage and not 512, but it doesn't. But yeah, and you've got 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports. You've got, I think, what is it? Is it 2 or 4 USB-A ports? I can't remember, but it's really good. Ooh, Mac Studio comes tomorrow. Nice. Did you get the Studio display? Did we wear you down? Yeah, the gaming thing is definitely not ideal, and you can't run boot camp, so then you can't do Windows on another partition. But I mean, for me, like I've got a gaming computer. If I didn't have that and I wanted to game, I could get, just like these days. Yeah. Oh, the Studio display, man, it is, I hate to say it. I mean, it is so much money. It is stupid amount of money. And it's just one of those things where, like, I was talking earlier today, like, so I've got M1 Mac Mini base model is what's running this whole live streaming video recording setup, right? And I have this 1080p monitor in front of me, and then I've got a 144 hertz 1440p monitor back there. I just set these up a couple of days ago. Up to that point, I'd been looking at the MacBook Pro screen and the Studio display, and I almost could not read the text on this 1080p monitor when I turned the computer on. Like, that's how bad it was. It looked like it was just fuzzy, and my eyes have adjusted, but still, damn, it's just crazy, just crazy. The Studio display is super good. I wish it was 32 inches. I wish it was 32 inches. But I understand. They've got to. No, I don't understand. You should be able to get 32 inches for $1,600. But You know Apple, it's always the upsell. Get that 32 inches plus those holes, those fancy holes. Those fancy holes on the display, the XDR display, whatever they call it. And then you have to pay an extra $1,000 for a leg. I mean, sometimes it's like, how the fuck does Apple get away with this shit? Right? I mean, how do they get away with some of the things that they do? I mean, once you get past a certain point, like the base model of almost every computer that they sell is an amazing value. But once you get past that, it's like it just gets crazier and crazier until you're spending $6,000 on a 32-inch monitor. And yes, it's a professional, it's like, I get it. And it's probably less expensive than, what you would buy from another manufacturer but they're selling it at retail. You don't walk into a retail store and see like a video editing monitor, right? You don't do that. But you can walk into an Apple store and see the studio display. You can see the XDR display. Apple sells these things like they're for regular people. And they're not. But plenty of regular people, myself included, will pay for them. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, the studio display, I don't care about the speakers, although they're good. I don't care about the webcam. I don't have any use for it. The design is great. The build quality is great. The screen is the best that I've seen. So it's one of those things where it's just like, I hate to spend that money, and I have to get myself out of the mindset of like, I'm going to change this next year when they put out whatever else, because I don't make enough money to do that. And I don't want to be like an Apple channel just chasing the Apple release schedule, right? I mean, I love Apple and I do buy the stuff, but I don't want to be on that thing. But yeah, I mean, if the studio display is a monitor that I use for the next 5 years, then I don't think anything else is going to come out that's going to beat it. Unless they come out with like micro LED or something. And even if that happens, I wouldn't spend the money anyway, because it'd be ridiculously expensive. But yeah, I mean, I think what ends up happening, what Apple is really good at, and what a lot of people lose track of when they're watching these videos and they're watching Apple's events and all this other stuff, they lose track of the fact that like, whatever iPhone you've got right now is probably going to have the same software on it that the iPhone that they're hawking to you right there from the stage, right? Or from whatever video space they're in, whatever green screen they're behind. If it's going to have the same stuff, the iPhone 10 is still supported in iOS 16. I think the iPhone 8 is the one that just got pushed to the side, or it will next time. I can't remember which. But if you're going to run the same software and there's nothing wrong with your iPhone, then don't fall prey to what you're doing. I mean, they're very good at it. They're very, very good at it. And the products themselves are very, very good. But man, they create that thing where they make you feel like you have to have it. And it's just really hard to resist. And I get really uncomfortable being one of the people who sometimes perpetrates this myth that, I mean, I'm not intentionally trying to get people to buy things they don't need, but even in talking about them and how cool they are, and well, this new feature and blah blah blah. It creates that FOMO environment, right? Where it's hard to get by the whole like I've got to have it thing. I watched 0 S23 Ultra videos because I watched 0 S23 Ultra videos because I knew if I watched any of them, then I would be like, counting my pennies and trying to figure out like how to get down to the Best Buy and get one. And it's like, I'm trying to break that thing. But Bandrew says our brains trick us because we buy high quality stuff to justify it by wanting to use for the next 5 or 10 years. And then we turn around and we want to upgrade the next year because that's what that's what they try. And I'm not trying to demonize because they're a going business. It's they're a retail purveyor of goods. So, Apple's trying to do their job. They just happen to be probably the best in the tech space at doing it. They make you want the new thing. And I have found in recent days that a few deep breaths and turning off YouTube and waiting a day, it will help that to dissipate some. And I know that I have a problem with self-control. Let's say it that way. My addictive tendencies jump up in all of these different places. I might not have had a drink in 10 years, but I spent $30,000 on tech last year, and that's stupid, right? Stupid. Even if I'm doing it as my business, it's stupid. It's obviously an addictive behavior, right? It's obviously me trying to dopamine hit myself and not having a productive, good way to do it. So, I started this whole YouTube channel, and that was part of the deal. He was like, oh, I get to buy stuff. So then it's justified, whatever. But, the hi-fi audio places is the same. I think you hit the level of diminishing returns in hi-fi audio like at the $500 mark. I just think beyond the $500 mark, well, depending on the product, but there's a threshold in hi-fi audio where like it's as good as it's going to be. It's maybe better in this way or that way, but the next thing that costs $2,000 more is not $2,000 better. And I think a lot of people who are into hi-fi audio would be much more happy if they just settled on what they wanted their system to be, spent the money, and then sat there and listened to records instead of reading Reddit forums, right? Because when your conversation about audio becomes mostly about the gear and very little about the audio, then that's backwards. It can be fun to geek out about stuff and talk about the different ferrous metals or whatever bullshit. But at a certain point, it's got to be about the end result, like you listening to music, or, you might as well collect, German beer steins, right? I'm sure you could buy some really expensive German beer steins, and then you put it on your shelf with the other German beer steins, and there's your collection. But I still think that if you had yourself a pair of like HD 600s or 650s, I haven't tried the 660s yet, but if you get yourself a pair of those and you spend about $500 on a nice amp, and you have some kind of really good source to listen to, all total, you're in for less than $2,000. You're going to enjoy the shit out of that. You could do $1,000 and it would be so much better than listening to your AirPods, right? If you bought the right stuff and then you're done. I mean, I bought HD 600s in 2017. They're still pristine as the day that I bought them. And people lose track of, like, it becomes a thing. Like, I don't know if it's like some sort of genetic, we're hunters and we must go out and find our prey. I don't know, but it's something, right? We have to have the hunt is more important than it should be. So how did I somehow just make buying high-end audio equipment like hunting? I really don't know. Oh, but I've been going at this for 100 minutes. 100 minutes. And I should probably quit before I get myself in more trouble and before I make myself sick again, because I've been like, So you got the 800Ss? Yeah, I tested those. And here's the thing about the 800s. They sounded almost so good and so transparent that they didn't have a character to me. I didn't spend a ton of time with them, but it's like, but I felt like they were definitely very, very nice, but they didn't impart an impression on me the way that other headphones do. And maybe that's the point, but I mean, but they are very good. And the HD 600s for me are just kind of like, they're in that space where they are still clinical enough, but they're fun to listen to, and they translate a lot of stuff really well. So, that's sort of where it goes for me. And you could go across the board with a lot of stuff. There, there's a Hi-Fi Man HE 500 or 400s. For a planar magnetic, those things are really great. I really want to try there was the new 660s, I guess the 660 version 2. I want to try them, but I never tried the 650s. I got the 600 first. And then I was just like, well, how much better could the 650s be? So yeah, I guess I could see that too. The amp has a lot. When you get up into that range of the HD 800s, the amp is going to have a lot of say in what you're hearing. And once you get there, like, I don't know. I mean, I spent so many years being. No, I didn't get the 660s. I want to though. I gotta dig out my Sennheiser Contact and see what I can do about that, because I do want to try them out. But in all honesty, I think Jeff did get them. Yeah, because I remember seeing him post a picture on Twitter, and I was like, ooh, that looks so nice. So yeah, I gotta dig out my Sennheiser Contact. Hope that it's still good, so I can check those out. But it's these days though, I don't use headphones a lot. I don't leave my house very often. Like I use, these are the new Rode studio monitors, or studio. I think they're NH100 or something like that. I can't remember. It's something 100. They just released a gaming headset version, or like a boom mic version, whether or not it's for gaming. These things have replaced, they replaced the MDR 7506s, but the MD 7506s were already replaced by the Shure 840s, which are just really comfortable and a little less shrill than the than the MDR 7506s. But these I got to do a review of these Rhodes because they are so, for a studio monitor like style headphone, just all purpose. They sound so good. They've got a nice sort of like, not too much, but a nice like sort of mid-range boost for the voice. But they sound great with music as well. They fit amazingly. They have, check this out. So they have these locks. So you find your fit, right? And then you lock it. And I had never seen this before, but each one you just lock it and then it always fits. And then they also are ambidextrous. You can plug in the cable on either side, which is crazy. It's crazy. And these are like $100, but they sound so good. And they've got like the cooling gel in the ear pads. They're like a nice like velour, and they've got that cooling gel stuff in the ear pads. They are so good. And now they've made a gaming version. I got to check this out. I got to get on my Rode contact. I tell you what, Rode has hooked me up over the years here. As much as like I love I love the Rodecaster Pro. So it is the perfect thing for all of the content creation style stuff that I do. I wish that it was also, the 2 is better than the 1, but it's still not good enough for music. So also you got them, Andrew. Man, I tell you what, try them out. You'll be surprised. Like I used the M50s for a while and just, I don't know, they were just too muddy for me after a while. I don't know if it was just, I don't know what it was, but these things, man, they're light, they super comfortable, and they sound really good. I mean, I think if you try them, you'll be surprised. I at least look forward to hearing what you think, because they are a lot more impressive than I thought they would be when they came in the box with all the other Rodecaster 2 stuff. You know, I mean the box that they sent out to creators had, you know, all this Rodecaster 2, and then it had some little accessories, and and then like I think in this box they just sent the $100 mic that I'm forgetting the name of right now, and then these headphones, and I was like, headphones? Those are going to sound like tin cans, but no, they sounded amazing. I have been enjoying them so much, and you can they're color codable, so. Tannis so lit. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So yeah, you can use these different rings to match the color of the headphone jack that you've got the headphone plugged into. So I know that I'm on 3 because 3 is blue. 3 is blue. And the funny thing is, like, you know, you might laugh and say, "Oh, Rode is like making little collars for their headphone and microphone jacks and stuff," and but it's a really nice thing to be able to like look at a color and know what you're on, right? So yeah, I've been Rode capitalized on a moment. Let's say that. They capitalized on a moment. So Rainier says, got the Rhodes as well, but they were broken after a few weeks. Never experienced this with my Sennheisers or Bear Dynamics. Yeah, I only use them here, and I only use them for this one purpose. So I can't really speak to like I mean, they feel solid quality to me, but I haven't. I can't speak to like wear and tear having them out and about. Um, so yeah, the Sennheisers are built like tanks. Bear Dynamics are built like tanks. But if I were running a recording studio or running a podcast studio and I had 4 headphone outputs and four sets of these and 4 little color collars that I could put on them, like this is like it's just a perfect all-in-one solution. And Bender's right, like they're solving real world problems that when you've been in, like, maybe you've been in the audio recording world where things have developed over long periods of time, and so there wasn't always like everything put together in a nice package like this. Like it really does make a big difference. I mean, they solved a lot of problems with the Rodecaster Pro 2, 70 dB of gain for the SM7B, and much better control over all of the EQ, all of the different settings that you can get deep into. Much better integration of these pads to be more useful. 2 USB outputs. They got rid of the Bluetooth input. And it's like a little, like, 1x1 box that is, being the age that I am, if you would have told me 25 years ago that I would be able to buy a 4 mic input, all the effects on board, plus 4 headphone outputs, plus being able to trigger pads and doing all this different stuff. If you would have told me that I could buy that and soup to nuts, it would be less than $1,000 for 4 mics, 4 headphones, et cetera, et cetera. Well, probably more if you do all that. But anyway, like, this thing is what, $699? Which sounds expensive until you think about like what you're getting. And for the average person who wants to get into podcasting or content creation or live streaming or whatever, like, this is as close as you're ever going to get to like plug and play, where you plug your microphone in, you plug your headphones in, you press a couple of buttons. If you want to do any more, there's all kinds of how-to videos on Rode's website. And I mean, you could use this for a totally pro setup within the framework of what it's capable of. But yeah, I mean, I remember buying my first Firewire interface, Motu 828 Mark II. I think it was like $1,200, and had really pretty shitty mic pre's. Like, it was a good unit, but and it was solid and it lasted me for a lot of years, but it was nowhere near as good as what the Rodecaster is for $600. So, it's the Rodecaster Pro, the original. Yeah. The reason that I got the Motu was because I didn't want to spend the same money and get 2 channels and like a kid's version of Pro Tools with an M-Box. I just, the M-Box seemed like such a bad deal to me when I could get 8 mic pre's, and the digital performer came with it, and it was like a full on, you could record as many tracks as you want, like, it just wasn't a good deal. Not Avid, DigiDesign, like, was so bad back in the day. First recordings were on a Radio Shack mic into the motherboard. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I haven't watched the video yet, but I saw you did a video on those Behringer C2s. I bought, I didn't have any small diaphragm condensers, and I was like, it's what, $60 for a pair or something. So I was just like, okay. I mean, how bad can they be if I'm, they're just serving a purpose, right? Like if I need something like this, I'll have these. And they're, the limited use that I've taken from them, they're really good. But yeah, I've used the Behringer 2-channel interface, the Euphoria stuff. You could get a Behringer setup, like for a full-on 16-track studio for probably, if you bought all Behringer stuff, like microphones, everything else, if you bought all that stuff and it was just Behringer, I bet for less than $2,000, you could track 16 channels and it wouldn't sound all that bad. I remember Recording Revolution, Graham did a video about the Behringer B1, I think was their large diaphragm condenser, and how he still used it for vocals and everything else. This video was out a long time ago, but Behringer over the years has deserved its share of criticism, let's say, because in the early days, Behringer was just making cheaper stuff. That they took the Mackie mixers and they made cheaper versions of them. They took different rack gear, made cheaper versions of it, and it all worked, but you didn't know how long it was going to last. But I feel like Behringer's kind of settled into its own place in the market at this point. So whether or not you like it, they are good, But I remember I walked into a studio one time, 24-track studio, Behringer Eurodesk, and all Behringer pre's, EQs, everything else, and I was like, I almost heard my top end hearing being sheared off without any sound going. It was like, I was just like, wow, this is a lot of Behringer, but I guess it got the job done, Yeah, the studio monitors are crazy, man. Like, so I have the T5Vs that I just put up, in places where I don't like plan on keeping them, or just a small space or something like that. Those things they're so good. I had the A7s, and those were great, but I really don't think that they were I really don't think that from a utility standpoint. I mean, if your goal is to listen to stuff so that you can mix it and make good choices, like, I think that the T7V, and I haven't heard the new A7, but the A7X and the T7 were in the same ballpark, and you, like, the fact that you can get those T7Vs for what, like $300 a pop, $250 a pop? I can't remember. Yeah, the Tannoy had some really, really good speakers back in the day. And I had the newer Tannoy reveals that came out, I want to say back in like 2016 or something. And they weren't bad. But they were just, I got the 8-inch and they were too much speaker for my room. And I just ended up moving them on. But I ended up buying the Focal Solo 6 BEs. And I don't think I'm gonna buy. I don't think I'm gonna buy any studio monitors for a while, because they were really good out of the box, and they are just really good. So, and it's like, the way that I know they're really good is that I don't feel any kind of ear fatigue ever. And I never take my stuff to, if I'm mixing a video or like doing audio for a video or something like that, it always sounds in whatever other system I'm listening to it on like it did at my mix station. And that ultimately is the thing that matters most, you know? So anyway, it's now 2 hours of talking. And I do appreciate it, you guys. It's been great to be back and doing the show again. I am planning on making this a regular thing, as it once was. It shall be again. So definitely, I appreciate you guys coming out. It's been really fun just to shoot the shit. I don't get to do it as much as I used to, and clearly I need to because because I just can't stop talking. Anyway, you guys have a good rest of the night. I appreciate it. Once again, my name is Jason, painfully honest tech. So honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.